What's going on, y'all? Big Matt 519, the Camp Life Squad, back at it again with another gameplay with Haze 77P. And I just got back from New York from my friend's funeral. As some of you guys know from my previous video, my boy Butch passed away from lung cancer last weekend, and we flew out Friday to go see him, go pay my respects to his family, go see my boy off. And I mean, the way it went down was I didn't want to go. I'll be totally truthful with everybody. I did not want to go see him like that. I didn't want to remember him in the casket. From my last memory of him is seeing him in that position, you know. But my wife told me that I needed to go, that it would be good for me, and she was right. I mean, fuck, I hate it that she's always right, you know. But I did need that, you know. So we flew out early Friday morning. Got up at 4 a.m. Drove to the airport. Got on the plane. Got over there. From the airport, went to get the rental car, and we drove straight to Long Island. Straight to the funeral home. Now, when I got into the funeral home with my wife, first person we saw was his wife, his son, and his mother. Gave him a hug, told him I was sorry, and everything was good. And I looked over to the left, and he was there in his casket, and it was like somebody hit me with a sledgehammer in my chest. It hurt like hell seeing him like that. I mean, all the emotions just fucking came right out as soon as I saw him. But I don't even know how to explain everything that went on at that point or how I was feeling. It just hurt like hell. So I went, after I saw him, I went to the back of the funeral parlor. I positioned myself at an angle where I couldn't see his face, and just greeting his family and his friends that came. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. People were working, so it wasn't a big turnout at that point. But the close friends, you know, that could be there were there. And we went from there. That service ended at 4. Went to go back to the hotel, check in. When he got something to eat, drove back down to Long Island to the 7 o'clock service. Now the 7 o'clock service was different. It was wall-to-wall people. Everybody that knew him and loved him were there. It's amazing how many people how many lives this man touched in a beautiful way. And I say that kind of smiling because he's like me. He's an asshole, you know. But he was an asshole in a good way, you know. If you needed him, he was there for you. He would show up no matter what it was. That man would be there. And, you know, that's why everybody loved him. I've seen previous co-workers that he had from different companies show up. His friends from high school came down 20-something years later, and they came down to pay their respects to him. And it was a great time. And I stood in the front of the funeral parlor this time. I stood next to him. I kept going back and forth to his casket, sat there, kneeled down in front of him, and we talked. I talked to him about a lot of things. And then I went back to my wife and his wife, stood there with them as they were greeting more people, and then I would sneak away and go back to him and talk some more shit with him, you know. It felt good. It felt a lot better. It was easing into it, that it wasn't that bad anymore that my boy's gone. I mean, it is bad that he's gone, but I'm feeling better. It's not hurting as much. I'm always gonna miss him, but you know, it eased up. I don't know how to explain it. But 7 o'clock came, service was over. I mean, the 9 o'clock came, service was over. And went back to the hotel, me and my wife. Went to sleep because we had to get up early in the morning to be there to get the casket, to take it to his grandfather's church where they were going to have the service at. I was one of the pallbearers there with his family, and put him in the hearse. Drove out to Hempstead, New York, and we had the church service, and it was beautiful. It was a great service. Everybody was in there. Everybody was crying, you know. But it was a moving service, and when that was over, loaded the casket back in the hearse, took it to the crematorium to have him cremated. Now, I never did that before. I've never been in one. I've seen it on television, but you know, TV's all bullshit, whatever it is. But I never been to something like that before, and it was, you know, different. But we got in. The guy explained to us the process of what was going to happen. They took the body out of the rental casket and put him in a cardboard box with his name and all his information on it. So when it's time for his wife to pick up the remains, she picks up the right person. You don't want to go home with somebody else. You know, I mean, that would be wrong. But we did that. We said our last goodbyes. Took a picture of him in the box, in the chamber. They put him in, closed the door. His wife pressed the button to start the chamber going, start the fire. And once they did that, we went back to the house and drank some Hennessy and Budweiser. I celebrated my boy and talked stories with the family. And it was a great way to close, you know, for me. It was good closure for me, and I appreciate. And I'm just glad my wife made me go. You know, I'm glad I went. Anyway, this video is going to be wrapping up in a couple of seconds. So just want to let you know I'm back. We'll start playing again if I can. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, this is Big Matt 519, Camp Life Squad. Till the next time, I am out of here. Peace.